everyone. Welcome to Millennium Live. This week, I am joined by Summer Lindman, who is the CEO of Talkable. Thank you so much for being here today, Summer.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited for our conversation.
I'm excited to have this conversation with you too. So, before we jump in and I start asking questions, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and Talkable?
Yeah, absolutely. Talkable, most simply put, is a growth marketing solution. We enable e-commerce brands to acquire and retain high-value customers through referral and loyalty marketing programs. So, super simply put, if you're not familiar with referral, it's one of those give-get double-sided offers. So, if you're shopping on Rothy's.com or one of your favorite e-commerce sites, you might see a little widget that's like, give a friend $20, and in return, you also get a reward. And then loyalty is something that we actually launched at the end of 2020. So we're very excited to have that product as a part of our total marketing suite. But that's the best way to think about us is Talkable as referral and a loyalty marketing solution. And a little bit about myself, I've been with Talkable now for 5 years. I've been CEO for the last 2 years. And so super excited to be a part of our growth story. The company has grown kind of significantly over those last 5 years. So it's been a wild ride and very proud of what we've built.
I'm sure. So, thank you for that background. And speaking of wild rides, 2020 was crazy for everyone, and I'm
No
sure
kidding.
crazy for you too. So, what are you seeing with the aftermath math after last year?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2020 was definitely unprecedented on several levels. And maybe just to give you a little bit more context about our customer base, we have kind of two large buckets of customers. We have fast growing D2C brands, and we also work with a lot of larger retailers who are really undergoing a digital transformation. And that was super clear as of last year. But kind of across both of those customer bases, we've seen pretty significant shifts in consumer behavior across the board. And so I think the first one is really a lot of customers are becoming less brand loyal. And I think that makes sense. You know, our lives have changed so dramatically. You might have bought shoes from the same place for 15 years prior, and now you're suddenly not wearing shoes. So that's a big shift for all of us. But they're also taking time to comparison shop. So we're really seeing kind of that second trend, which is the time to buy is expanding. And so even with our referrals, if you get a link from a customer, usually, or sorry, from a friend, you usually would buy within 24 hours. And now you're taking maybe a week or two, sit on the purchase, decide, oh, do I really want to buy this or not? And again, that kind of intuitively makes sense. I think a lot of people have seen a shift in their household spending and even the categories that they're buying in. So they might be taking some more time to really assess the purchase. And that's kind of then the last trend, which is just a lot of discount codes have been used. And we do see across the board that more and more customers are redeeming discount codes and making sure that they're getting the best deal. So straightforward rewards are really popular right now. So it's no longer like a weird tiered structure where you have to spend a certain amount to get a dollar discount. Instead, we're seeing 15%, 20% discounts across the board are really resonating. But that's not to say that everyone's discounting. I mean, I think it's also important to note that we're, of course, wanting to still see brands grow, and we do see that. And so brands that are really doubling down on their message and their value proposition are also really thriving. So we actually saw that with Tom's, one of our longtime customers. And of course, their brand values are very strong. And of course, with 2020 also being an election year, they did a big push to get customers to get out the vote and use their referral program for that. So we've seen that it's not just discount codes heavy, but also those brand values and making sure that those resonate.
Right. And, I do have to say, it really makes sense of these buying behaviors changing. I can
Yeah.
relate to many of them myself. So it makes a lot of sense hearing it from you. I do want to touch upon your most successful brands and what do you think they're doing today to keep up with these changes in buyer behavior?
Most of our successful brands are really taking a holistic approach. So they're not just focusing on acquisition like they might have in the past. Now they're also saying, wow, we have a lot of loyal customers. We need to make sure that we're hanging on to them. And so they're splitting their time really pretty equally between acquisition and retention. So for us on the acquisition side with referral, I think our successful customers are really thinking about the entire buyer journey. They're not just focusing on, kind of pop-ups and discount heavy strategies. They're really thinking, okay, how do we make it a seamless user experience? And that also makes sense, right? I mean, we're online shoppers, most of us are. And so as you go to these sites and you're bombarded with pop-up after pop-up, it's just an annoying experience. You're not sure what you're supposed to do. And so really breaking that down and making sure that that is seamless is so vital. And again, it's like we have a lot of customers who are making their first online purchases in this last year. They might have been loyal in-store shoppers and now they're making that switch, and they don't want to be bombarded with all of those pop-ups either. They really want to get to their favorite products and make that purchase as quickly as possible. And so I think we're also then seeing a big shift into personalized offers and making sure that then those offers that they are seeing are really resonating with the customer at that point in their buyer journey. And again, that also makes sense. You're used to going into a store, seeing that sales associate, having them welcome you, know your face if you've purchased from there before. So now we have to replicate that online. So we need to make sure that we are recognizing, wow, this person's been to the site before. Maybe they haven't, but they are a loyal customer. And so how do we speak differently to those audiences? And then I think the last one is probably something around kind of trust through rewards and making sure that the rewards that we're giving to customers are really resonating with them and that they feel like they are being rewarded for their brand loyalty and advocacy for the brand. And so that kind of bridges us into the loyalty side and making sure that you're not just giving kind of discount and monetary rewards to your loyal customers, but you're also really driving that community factor. And I think we saw that with 2020 as well, how imperative it is to have that online community. So you're not just feeling kind of left alone and isolated in quarantine, but that you are building that online trust, and brands have a big platform and able to do that. So I think a good example is one of our customers is an engagement ring company, and they're now starting to showcase all of their different engagement stories on their website. And they're encouraging their, of course, customers to do that, and they get loyalty points for that in return. So that's a really exciting way to build that community, share those stories, and actually get people to engage in a different way than just purchasing. And I would just say the last one, sorry to cut you off, is also
Oh, keep going.
kind of making sure you're building out these profiles of customers so that you're not just, kind of getting, oh, we have their email address and that's it, or oh, we have their purchase history, but you're really looking at their preferences, when their birthday is, and collecting that information and then using that across the board.
And I happen to agree that combining acquisition and retention strategies really is critical, especially as a buyer myself. When it's programmed directly towards the buyer, it makes it a lot more enjoyable to shop on the website. But, what are you seeing beyond this, and how will your clients really find additional opportunities in 2021?
I would say that I think customer sensitivity across the board is heightened. And so recognizing that you have to have a close understanding of those customers, of the heartbeat of your customers and what they value, I think that will remain imperative in 2021 as well. And I think brands that are able to stay agile and open to new opportunities is also critical. There's been so many changing demands and changing trends, and those that have really seized those opportunities, changed their messaging in real time, and making sure that that's why they're tracking their customer buying behavior in real time and are then able to adapt is really crucial. And then I would say, along with that agility, making sure that you're actually tapping into your resources. A lot of companies have had budget constraints and restrictions happen as of the last year. And so, where can you actually find some additional resources that you might already be paying for? And I think that's one thing we do really well at Talkable is with our customer success team. We're really advocates and strategists for our customers. So they don't have to hire a loyalty person to own the program on their side or a referral person to own it on their side, and that's really expensive headcount. Instead, they can just leverage our team. They're already paying for it anyway, and they can be giving that strategy and really doing it all for you. So I think those are probably, to sum all of that up, the 360-degree customer profiling is critical, real-time consumer trend tracking, leveraging your customer success team and resources that you might not be thinking about right now, and then building that trust and emotional connection.
Absolutely. And I just have one final question for you, and it's about our
Yeah.
partnership with you. And, I'm just curious, what has it meant for you to be working with the Millennium Alliance, and how do you see this partnership evolving in the future?
When I think of Millennium Alliance, you guys are at the forefront of innovation and conversation, and you just have so much industry expertise. And so I think it's really exciting for us to be partnering with you all. We're certainly excited to continue that in 2021, and looking forward to this event that's upcoming.
We're happy to have you with us. So we will see you virtually in a few weeks, but hopefully one day we'll be together in person.
Definitely looking forward to that as well.
Thank you so much for being here, Summer.
Of course. Thank you for having me.